Mary, is it Shinnick? Okay. I'm not going to say that every time.
That's okay. That's all right.
All right. So what brings you into this class, Mary?
Well, I don't know. It just looked interesting. And I just, I don't know. I like to think of maybe doing different things, retired, but, I just wanted to explore what you had to say. I'm sorry I missed yesterday, but it said you locked the meeting and couldn't get in because I was like 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
So I missed that.
I'm sorry about that, but we will have another one every week. We do a class one, usually starting on a Sunday evening. So you don't necessarily miss it. But let's just pick up what you've just said as well. As you know, because you have experienced from yesterday, those that are in the class, and most of you were in the class, is that we had the Zoom bombers coming in and we had to deal with them.
Oh.
And now the company has taken it very seriously, and they now trying to make your experience, so much more peaceful and more relaxed. So what they're doing certain things besides, like the waiting room now. We've created a waiting room, so people who come in have to go to a waiting room, but that in itself is not good enough. And what we're doing, or Get Set Up is doing as well, is just letting you be aware that these we are dealing, or they that Get Set Up are dealing with a problem, and so just to be aware that if you have any even suggestions yourself, maybe from your experience or whatever, you can write to help@getsetup.io. You might want to offer some suggestions on how we deal with this.
Okay.
But one of the most important things, and that is, we are immediately suspicious now of people who do not put their cameras on, because the bombers do not put their cameras on, all right? So we're looking at, doesn't stop genuine people. I know Carol Sue Scott down the bottom there doesn't have a camera on, but she's a regular in this class, and so she's
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't know what that is. Bombers. What is Zoom bombers?
In other words, people come into the class as pretending to be an attendee, and then they are rude. Maybe even abusive, and maybe even showing like pornographic pictures and so forth.
Oh my! Oh, I didn't hear of that, huh?
Yeah. So
I was in one, and we were moved.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, right.
My very first one, and it was a Buddhist meditation one, and they
Was it Glenda's?
They pull their pants down. It was yeah.
Okay.
Did you say it was Glenda's?
I'm sorry.
Okay. So we do have we do have a technical assistant in class with us, and she is going to also be around looking carefully at the people her name is Nancy. Let me introduce her. You'll see her on the chat page, and you can interact with her as well if you want to just send her on the chat page, and I'll ask her a question or make a suggestion. Then she will pick up any of that. So Nancy, welcome to our class. It's great to have you here again. Thank you. So so you see, with the exception of Carol Sue, I don't know about Sue L and Gertrude. Okay, you have cameras. Gertrude, are you there?
Yes, yeah, I'm here. Oh,
good. Okay.
As I said, I've been on Get Set or some of the classes before the Zoom bombers or whatever. I don't know, a couple months ago now, I guess. And I don't like being on video. I really don't even like my voice being recorded. But one thing I do feel, then I feel uncomfortable about making a point about people not being on people that's on video, not having that video shown. So that does make me feel uncomfortable. And at a point, I almost disconnected. So, and that's something else to consider too, because I do feel uncomfortable about that being, um, people being suspicious of me just because I don't have my video on. And I'm at home and I don't care. It's bad enough for the government of your pictures are all over the place. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Gertrude, thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. I appreciate that and I respect it. Okay. So you really are welcome to not have your video on. And if you do not actually want to participate, that's also fine. You know, you're not forced to by any means. What is comfortable for you is what's important to me. Okay. So, so please feel free to do as you move forward.
Where are you located, Michael?
Yes, I was going to get to that. Maybe that's a good place to start. Let me just share my screen, and let's get up with that. And there we are. Can you all see my slide?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Well, you know my name already. I live in Perth, Western Australia.
Wow.
And it's just gone 9 a.m. in the morning tomorrow morning for you.
It's 9 p.m. here.
Yeah. And I'm on Tuesday. You're on Monday.
Oh, right.
So at least we're ahead of something. With the United States is always ahead of everything, but not in time.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it is. They're just launching now. Get set up at launching in Australia and New Zealand, and they've been launched a few months in India, and so the idea is to move around the world and have guides in different time zones so that they can really give lessons 24 hours. So I'm one of those guides now that are 12 hours away from you. So I'm covering this time zone along with my wife, who also does get set up teaching on the creative side and so forth. Some of you have been in her class, I think, already. So yeah, that's who I am. I enjoy gardening. I enjoy microgreens. In fact, I give a class on microgreens, and I really feel it's very beneficial for senior people to seriously look at eating and growing microgreens. But anyway, that's who I am. If you look at the agenda on your screen today, you know, we did do a class yesterday, as has already been mentioned. And in that class, you were given steps, 6 steps fundamentally, with a 7th one that you should look at. And that way you're getting to a point where you're finding your purpose on life, okay, to go forward from here as seniors of the planet. And that's a very responsible position, as we're going to see as we move forward. We have responsibility to move forward in a very constructive way and to help society get to a more pleasing society than possibly historically, where it's been a bit egotistical and consumeristic. But we'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. And as you can see, we'll cover those things that are on the agenda. I'm certainly going to start with the first question now, because you've arrived here, well, most of you, and don't worry, Mary, if Mary Schmidt, that is, or Mary S, maybe, if you haven't arrived with an idea. I understand that you couldn't get into last night's or yesterday's. And by the way, just when you say you couldn't get into, it reminds me as well, is that we are going to get set up, is going to lock the class. Probably about 12 or 10 minutes after it started, in order to stop the people from coming in uninvited. So please, in future, just try on the hour, try and get into your class.
And yeah, I had no idea that happened. I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's new. It's really, it's the start of this week that it's happening. It's very new. This we had all the trouble the end of last week and over the weekend, and so it started this week. But if you do find yourself locked out, okay, then you just contact Get Set Up, either by phone or the help, and they will get you into class within a few minutes. Okay.
Yeah, they're very helpful. I've had some where I had technical problems, or you all had technical problems, and they call you and help you.
That's
they're very
great.
helpful.
Yeah, thanks for that, for sharing that. And they really try. You know, you can imagine at my age, I've worked for a lot of companies, a lot of places, but I have never experienced the type of service that set up to. Really outstanding. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So back to the screen now. Who will benefit from your idea? As I was saying, that yesterday you came up with a purpose, or maybe like Sandy, maybe you haven't yet, and you're going to spend a few days on it, and that's fine too. You can always come back to these classes again once you've established your idea. I mean, you can watch them all now and get familiar, and maybe you get your aha moment during the process of focusing on something else, which is highly likely. So the idea is that, but if you haven't been through the questions on class 1, is try and get to next week's class 1. Okay, so you've landed up here with a purpose and the reason for your purpose. Vitally important, the why. And you know, your purpose is private to you. Okay, you can share it when you are ready to share it, when you feel confident. You know, your purpose might be fighting the declining conditions on our planet to be dramatic, okay? Or maybe you're working with your hands and making something that you're going to do for the rest of your life because you love working with your hands. You know, maybe you like researching and you're going to discover the climate change problems and share that information. Whatever your purpose is, okay, it doesn't have to do with money. Okay, it's not necessarily a business idea. It's your purpose, and your purpose might be traveling the world, going to specific types of societies and helping them because you have a skill that you can do that. Okay, we had that yesterday in our class. Those of you can remember, and so it's really important to get to that point where you're absolutely confident. And you know, we know once we have reached it that we're never going to be happier than if we have a purpose and a passion about that purpose and a good reason why in life. We're going to move forward, and we're really going to enjoy our life. Okay, so we've reached a point of knowing what we want to do. Okay, or we will, you know, if you haven't yet. And then if we know what we want to do, we know our purpose. Okay, and then we know why we want to do it. And that's even like more important than the purpose, but the two go hand in hand. You need to have the why in your life. And we did that yesterday. So we move now into who will benefit from your idea, because historically in our careers and so forth, you know, and we were all different, and I'm generalizing, sure, but you know, we went out there and we, you know, had to bring up children, and we had a career, possibly not even a career that we enjoyed, but we did it, and we did it well. Maybe we enjoyed it as well, no problem. but we did it in order to get ourselves and our family established and secure and create a pension scheme and all those sort of things. Now that we've reached retirement, with or without a pension scheme, with or without money, okay, we have an idea, okay, and the idea now allows us the freedom to benefit other people, first and foremost, before we benefit ourselves, like we did perhaps in the last 50 years. So it's important now to look at who is going to benefit. You've got your idea, you've got your purpose. So now who is going to benefit from your ideas? And it's very important on how to start thinking about this, because if you've gone the selfish route, okay, and there's no harm, you can do it, and you can be, but it's not going to be that fulfilling as it possibly might have been historically. What happens is that true happiness and fulfillment comes from helping other people, okay? And I'm sure you've all experienced that, okay? And from the idea that you came up with now from yesterday, who do you want to help? That's the question I'm asking here. That's the next step that you need to be answering for yourself. And how do you want to help people? You know, by teaching them or volunteering them or traveling around the world, searching those little groups or blogging or freelancing. You know, how do you want to look at that? Okay, so this is the first time we get into the how. We just touched on it yesterday a little bit. So tomorrow's class and the day after that, we'll be dealing a lot with how. And so give it some thought, okay? And we'll give a lot more clarity to it as well in this class. Just remember in the end that each of us are absolutely unique, and only you can be what you are. And so you've got a unique idea, okay? Yeah, sure, you know, there might be millions of people out there with a similar idea, but it's you, it's your character, it's who you are that's going to take this forward, and that's unique, okay? And it's, we are tapping into the subconscious yesterday to try and find that idea and to move forward. So sort of in summary, your purpose includes how you'll make a meaningful contribution to the world around you and those around you, okay? You know, there might just be your local community, you know, in your suburb, in fact, or your town. It doesn't matter, or it might be a much wider spectrum. And this is going to be your impact. This is a senior and as a responsible senior now, we take up our role and we move forward in order, even if we're helping one person, okay, it doesn't matter. If we're helping dozens, that doesn't matter. It's just that we are going forward from within ourselves, helping other persons, other people. So the question now, you've answered that question to yourself, or you've jotted it down, or you can request a recording of this class, and then you can go over it again, because there's a lot that I'm saying that's not on the screens, obviously, and you might want to just pick up some ideas or thoughts by re-listening and making notes when you have the recording. So now we get to the next question, okay? If you had 10 minutes to address the world, what would you talk about and why? That's the first part. That's the big part, because now we take in that purpose you've come up with and the reason that you've come up with it, and we're putting it together, we're solidifying it, we're trying to bring it and give some substance to it now by doing this exercise. Remember, nobody needs to know what you're doing, okay? Not your spouse or anybody yet, okay? The time will come when you feel comfortable to share, and then you'd share that. But you mustn't at this point get other people's ideas, okay? Not yet, you will. now it's your ideas. If you had 10 minutes to address the world, what would you say and talk about your purpose, okay, and your why, okay? And you need to go through this in order to get it grounded, get your thoughts grounded, your purpose grounded, okay? Now you're using your logic. You've got all those notes from the previous class, the what and the whys, and now you bring in the what and the why together that you ended the class with, and now you're going to talk about it for 10 minutes. Okay, so that's the next step, and it's really a very important step. But I want to just stop there and see if there are any questions that anybody would like to ask. It's fine. It's fine if you don't have any questions, because it means you're thinking and you're writing and you're contemplating. And that's what this is all about. Okay, so absolutely fine. So let's get back to so what you're doing now is you've solidified it. You've got, in order to address the world, maybe you could do it without notes. Maybe you would just take your what and why, and you just talk about it, and you record yourself. And remember, you can record yourself on Zoom without anybody attending. You just go in and put it on record, and you've got a video maker there. So and you just save it to your hard drive, and so that's that's one way of just recording it. And maybe that's where you start, is just record it. You can record it on your phone, and just talk about it in order to, and then play it back to yourself, and you'll see that those 10 minutes and that idea and that purpose will start coming together. And all right, so the next thing is to find that path, and that allows you to be the greatest version of yourself. Okay, so you can start gathering the tools that allow you to reach your fullest potential. Okay, and be the greatest version of who you can be. Okay, if you see that image on the screen there, a cat looking into the mirror and a lion looking back, okay, that explains it all. You see, I guess we're all the little pussy cat, and we need to be the lion when it comes to our purpose. Okay, and we need to have courage, and we need to move out there with courage, even though we might be introverted. It doesn't matter. Okay, try and find the fullest potential of yourself. Okay, nobody else. Don't try and be somebody else. Please don't try and be somebody else. Be whoever you are, your character. We spoke a lot about it yesterday. Okay. Now, one way of doing that. Now we've had the 10-minute talk. We've got a 10-minute idea of or you have a 10-minute idea of your purpose. Now I want you to bring it down to one sentence. Okay, take the essence, find the essence. Listen again to your 10-minute talk. Find the essence of and make a one full sentence.
Don't have anything. You have to wait.
Sorry, Carol Sue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. Fine. Yeah. So
I had a question. Is that like the elevator pitch? You know how you give an elevator talk? As the doors are closing, everything you want to say. Is that what the 1 minute or the one sentence thing is?
Yeah, that's so interesting, Sharon. Yes, I remember Laura also brought that up when she was in the class. Yes, it is. Okay, and it's going to be a little different, because the elevator pitch is basically sort of a salesy type thing usually, because it's done, companies and salesmen do it and so on. So, but yes, it's very similar. And if you work with the elevator pitch, if you know it, then use it in order to create That's why I call it, rather than the elevator pitch, sorry, I call it a purpose impacting one-line sentence. So now it's something that resonates with that purpose, that resonates with you, a feeling, okay? You're not trying to perhaps be logically clever, okay? You are finding that one sentence that really resonates with you about your purpose, okay? And as I say, a good place to start would be to listen to or reread, if you've written it, your 10-minute speech to the world, and then, you know, find the essence, find exactly, and, you know, start imagining your path and your journey, okay? And by starting your purpose impacting one-liner sentence, okay, you will get absolutely clear, you know, where to start, because that's the fundamental issue on this class, is how to get started. So you take your new idea based on your purpose and keeping in mind your why, never forget your why, reduce its description to one powerful sentence, just one small powerful aspect of your bigger purpose, your bigger idea. Bring it down to that one-liner. And if you can, you know, if you can bring the reason into it, that's great, okay? But that's not necessary. It's the purpose we want, your one-line purpose. Because you now need to, what you are saying, you need to also become the expert in what you are saying. And we'll give some examples in a minute. And so, you know, you need to sort of get down to the nitty-gritty. You are, we said earlier in this class, you know, who are you going to benefit? Keep that in mind, okay? Maybe that person has a particular problem in life, or a particular pain, or a particular handicap, and maybe a one-liner will address that in some way or another, okay? So just be aware when you're creating this compelling statement. You know, we've had some people share ideas yesterday, but also the previous week. You know, the one-liner could be something to the effect of joyfully living in your own senior's tiny space, being free forever. Now that came from somebody in the class, okay? And around their purpose, and they shared their purpose, and then together we came up with help with that, you know, example of because they want to work with tiny houses. You know, your problem, you know, look for the problem within the people that you want to serve, okay? As we said, as starting in this class. So the pain, you know, what, you know, maybe people are not able to, let's say they're in business and they're not able to find people to sell to, okay? And a typical one-liner, and this is a real one from a friend of mine, and that's what he does, okay? And so his one-liner was, and I'll read it to you, "We cement your personal credibility and industry reputation to key people on LinkedIn." Okay, let me say it again, read it again. "We cement your personal credibility and industry reputation to key people on LinkedIn." Okay, so what they do, what he does, they target clear and intriguing and inviting audiences to more about the solution. So they have a problem, you have a solution. So you could use that approach, not necessary, not compulsory, because your purpose, you know, I can't generalize to such an extent that I cover everybody's category of purpose, but it's a good place to reducing it to a one-liner. And that one-liner sentence is powerfully important to you as you move forward as it energizes you, as it makes you get out of bed in the morning and want to get going in life. Okay. And as a senior, you have your purpose, you have your why, and now you're starting to really cement it down into, I use his word, but bring it down and solidify it, and make it very clear as you move forward. And as the more clear you make it, the more excited you feel. You get a warm feeling in your gut, okay? Yeah, from your throat down to your belly button. That's where you've got to get your response from, not from your head. I've got a good idea. I thought everybody will love it. Okay. Oh, I'll make money from. No. Okay. That's not where we're at. Okay. We're working first, and there'll come a time for that, but not now. Okay. So, in 2021, we could say in May 2021, there are methods to survive and thrive in starting up a process. And I'm going to give you some ideas, some thoughts. These are just meant to tweak something that gels with you, okay? And so you can see from the screen some of the things, and let's just talk a little bit about them. Let's start with the first one, focus. Always focus on your big picture. In other words, always focus on your grand purpose. I don't use the word grand. Okay, why can't it be grand? It's your purpose. Okay, you might see it as insignificant, but it's your grand purpose. Okay, so keep your thoughts positively on this grand purpose, the big picture, because your thoughts become your words, and which then become your actions. You know that. Okay, you attract certain things by constantly thinking about them. So if you're thinking constantly a failure or negativity, you attract that. Okay, the law doesn't discriminate if it is a law. But if you're positive and on focus with your purpose and your reason for purpose, oh my goodness, does the universe throw things at you that are really positive? And I do speak from experience, and many of you I know also experience that. Okay, so plan. Okay, how you want to spend each day, is key to reaching your fullest potential. Each day, without stressing yourself, keep it simple and doable. One of the biggest problems that I had historically was that I always overplanned. Always thought I could do far more than I actually was capable of doing. So, you don't want to create an elaborate plan like you were doing it for your bank manager or something. This is yours. This is your purpose. This is your new stage of life moving forward with repurposing yourself and reimagining how you can move forward. So planning is keep it simple without stressing yourself, okay? And everything you plan that you're going to do, because we're going to, through these classes, we're going to look at options of what things you can do and what platforms you can use and so forth. But that will come tomorrow, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. You need to, manage your time. We all used to that word in business, time management. But we are free now, okay? We're free of time limitations, and you don't need to impose them in order to stress yourself, okay? People who are moving forward now into taking their purpose, you're going to spend probably maybe 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours on your purpose a day, and the other times you might be relaxing, researching, socializing, doing whatever you do. So don't start planning yourself to work 8 hours a day. Okay, it's not where we are moving to. Okay, we're moving to enjoy ourselves, fulfill a really purposeful purpose. Okay, so manage your time very discreetly and quietly. Then, create simple, attainable goals for yourself. You can check back. I'm not talking, of course, we're not talking about money. You know that. We're talking about, if we're going to, let's say, spend 2 hours a day. So we set ourselves a goal. Okay, we'll say from whatever time, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock, that's my goal, to spend my time focused on my purpose and moving my purpose forward. Okay, and you can change that at any time in the future as the purpose starts taking hold and you start moving forward. But it needs to be very simple, and it needs to be something to check back on. So, in the evening when you're sitting there sipping your favorite beverage, and you think, did I do my 2 hours today? Okay. And that's all. If you answer yes, that's great. That's great. You answer no, you've got to answer that famous English word, why? Okay. Why didn't I? Okay. Is it not that important to me? Can I go shopping instead of doing that? Okay. So you ask yourself those questions because you need to get started. Okay. And so there needs to be a certain discipline within you, and you set the discipline process, you set the discipline goals to yourself. Okay. So if you set 2 hours of working with it, okay, you did it because it's easy to do. You can do it. It's the best time of the day for you. But if you didn't do it, you need to ask why. Okay. So the second last on your screen is enable simplicity. Okay. In everything that you do, don't make it complicated. Okay. Just because you think it's going to be better, and you throw in maybe even some things you don't really know too much about, or you haven't done before, or perhaps not part of you. No, keep it simple. Keep it what you know of yourself that you can achieve. Embrace in everything you do. Everything you do, just keep it simple. And it's not that easy, I'll just tell you. But, if you are conscious of it and you're aware of it, keep it simple. And then, recharge yourself every day in the way that you can recharge yourself. Okay. So, you might be doing yoga, you might be doing exercises, meditation, walking, gardening, whatever. But a daily recharge is important, because your whole body, the longest system is your nervous system. So, your nervous system actually needs to be energized in different ways, and just find a way that is and again, allocate a time, whatever it is. It's part of now simple goals that are easily achievable. So, don't go and say, I'm going to go and, jog for 10 kilometers if you've never done that in your life. Okay. Say, well, I'm going to jog for 1 kilometer, make a simple goal. Okay. And move forward. So really, really stay focused on the task at hand. That's what I want to leave you with this slide, is stay focused on the task at hand, and then do not go off at a tangent so easily. And definitely historically, one of my issues was going off at a tangent. I mean, even now in class, sometimes, as we did earlier in this class, we were talking about something, and then suddenly I remembered to tell you something that of blocking the classes. Okay, and I went off at a tangent, and then I had to find my way back. And sometimes in our own private lives, it's not easy to find our way back, because we're now off at a tangent. Okay. So, are there any questions anybody would like to ask while I have a sip of water?
Excuse me.
Hello, you got something?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I'm not sure if this is the right session to ask this question in. I'm pretty clear on what I want to do. And that gut feeling that you had talking about, I have that and that fervor, but I'm not sure how or what medium to use. And I'm not sure if you're going to answer that in this session or the following one.
From this session onwards. So you right there, you spot on. We're starting now to move towards taking that idea that you have, okay, and getting it started, okay, the hows. So we're starting to deal with the hows. And so you absolutely right. Stay tuned to this station.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, let's go back. And here we're moving into just what Ella was introducing timeously, a good question at the right time. Okay, so we now want to remember this class is about getting started, about moving forward, taking our purpose forward. And communication channels are how you connect with your, let's call them stakeholders or audiences, because you've all got different purposes and doing different things, but you understand what I mean. How do you communicate with the people that you want to communicate with? Okay. The single most important thing to remember is to find and choose channels that are specific, that have specific stakeholders you will be able to use as part of your day-to-day experience. Okay, so you must know who you want to reach. And we spoke about it at the beginning of this class. Okay, that was a question. I said every question is a serious question. And so, you know, who are you aiming at? Okay, and so you must know, you must answer that question first and foremost earlier on in the class. So you must now know who want to reach, and you must now know something about them. What is their ecosystem, if you like? It's perhaps not the greatest word, but you know, what sort of, how do they live, and in what environment do they live in, and where do they look for information, and so forth. Okay, so you at this stage now you are aiming to interact with them in their world. Okay, but you need to know about their world first. So because you know who you want to serve, and you don't want to serve everybody in the world, every human being. No, you're focused in on a specific category of person, and now that you know something about them, you now want to interact with them. Now, depending again on your purpose, okay, and I want to start here first because it comes historically, and you're probably most comfortable with that. The first part, as you can see on your screen, one-to-one meetings with them. Okay, and one-to-one can also be online. It can be physical as well, meeting with them. Okay, so however that happens, and because of your purpose, that's the way it's going to happen, is that you're going to make contact with those individual people. Okay, you know, maybe you're setting up a tiny house of village, and you need to speak to your local council, and you need to find the right person, and you need to make an appointment to go and see them and talk one-on-one with them about your purpose. Okay, but there'll be a lot of other reasons when you would talk one-to-one, and you will consider that. Then you get the next, that's on your screen, the personal interactive. Personal interactive. So it could be a phone call, it could be a Zoom call, it could be a Google Meet call, or it could be a targeted social media. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow as well, that targeted social media contact. Okay, just looking at various ways that you are going to start and find which is the correct basics to start with. Okay, in order to research all the options open to you in particularly tomorrow's class. So then you get the impersonal interactive, which is email or just generally on social media. And email is still powerful regardless. And I see people that are saying that email is no longer, and it is just not true. Okay, and again, I speak from experience. I send an email out to over 6,000 or 7,000 people that are following me on that subject that I'm emailing. Okay, they want that information. They have subscribed into that, and I get incredible feedback. If that's your type of purpose, then just don't dismiss it because some guru out there on the social media says don't use it anymore. Okay, so email definitely becomes, and social media, absolutely yes. Okay, you need to be using it, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Then you get the impersonal static that I've written on your screen there, where you would send a general letter to everybody, not personalized or anything, or send out reports or send out e-news or any sort of newsletter. Okay, those are ways that you could start and move forward to. So just keep those in the back of your mind as we move through the next few classes. That is something that might be absolutely relevant to you, or it may not be relevant at all. Okay, and you will see that particularly as we move forward now from today onwards. Okay, so the most important thing that you must look at when you are moving forward with your purpose, and that is you mustn't push it in people's faces. Okay, historically, we used to market straight into people, buy this, buy that. This will do good for you. This is good. No. Okay, you're influencing them now. Okay, you're not pushing something in their face. Okay, so you're no longer looking at marketing at people. You're now starting to influence them in an environment. Remember, you've searched out the environment, that you've searched out where they are, in an environment where they already have a chance to form a view from your postings, the way you're communicating, because they can click on profile, look at you, they can click on your products, look at you before they even follow you or put a little thumbs up on your postings and so forth. They can go and find out about you as you can about other people as well. So if you're now in their face and in this day and age, it's actually rude, okay, to sort of aim at them, but people still do it. There's still massive that still being done. No, we now need to influence people and start, through the content, we're giving them advantages of information that they perhaps wouldn't have received, or they'd had to have searched for themselves. So that's what you're doing. Okay. Now, also, it's important to focus on prioritizing the communication channels that you are going to use to start off with. Okay, and in the beginning, avoid multi-channel strategies. In the beginning, okay, it's important to focus on prioritizing a communication channel for you and your purpose and the people that you are going to benefit. Okay. So, social media by its very nature helps clients find the specification. I'm talking about clients. I'm talking about people, as I said earlier, they can go and find all the information they want that you want to let them know if they want it, like the price of something, or, or a little write-up that you've got under your profile about yourself. But your task in this communication strategy, your task, and this is what I want you to remember from this slide, okay, is to advance user engagement. You need to build relationships, okay, and to work on customer experience. Get interactive with those people that you want to help, okay? So you want to get engagement. So yes, you post something of value, and they might ask you a question and you answer that question, okay? And you get engaged. Maybe you ask them a question back because you want more engagement, okay? Because engagement slowly builds authenticity in the mind of the other person, and also helps you understand some more about them, okay? So you're building trust, okay, through that process. So enhanced customer experience is non-negotiable, okay? It's for business, it's the way you do, it's the way you move your purpose forward, okay? It's just, you need to interact and enhance the other people's experience through connecting with you, okay? Very, very important, okay? So as the world continues to move faster in the digital age and space, and new communication channels come up and advanced data platforms come up, and you have created opportunities for people to improve their customers' experience and adapt to new ways of doing that business, okay? So you need to really keep abreast, you know, get set up or doing classes about channels and the benefits of the channels and how to use those channels. So, you know, be aware, keep aware of what is coming up that's new, okay? You know, we know that the future is mobile, for example. We're all using smartphones at the moment, and people are interacting on smartphones, and you can build relationships on smartphones, interact. That can be your tool, okay? And then, of course, artificial intelligence is really growing fast. And basically, I know there's a whole lot of negativity about it, but it can also be used to your advantage. It wants to help you also get a better experience and your customers to get a better experience. So, and it does that by looking at what you do on a particular channel, okay? So it'll make sure that you optimize your channels and use it properly. So those who take the customer experience seriously will stand out from those by winning more and more customers, okay? One thing is for sure, to deliver a positive experience, you must know your customers better than ever in the past 50 years, okay? And so that's very important as we take a step forward, moving out and finding people to engage with. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to mention basically, as you move forward, and I say basically broadly, okay, you do have lots of options, but I'm going to talk about just two options. The one is you could use a micro influencer. Okay, that's like really new but it's another way of marketing. Okay, but it's a new concept that you know, micro influencers are everyday people like you and me, and but the big difference is they have a large following on any particular platform or social media. They may have over 3,000 followers on their Instagram. And so they come into that sort of level of being a micro influencer. And if you're going to spend money on promoting your idea and moving it forward, I strongly recommend that you look at a micro influencer as opposed to placing an advert on Facebook or Instagram. The return on investment and marketing with an influencer is 11 times greater, okay, than paid social media. So, you know, do not be afraid to spend your money with a micro influencer, because statistically it's really good. But as I said, there are two options. The other option, oh yeah, here's some pictures of some micro influencers. They're all over 80 years old, and they are just great. And in the fourth lesson, I actually talk about their background and their history and how they started. They didn't start out with any intention. They just certainly didn't want money, which they're now receiving in large quantities, but they just wanted to get out there and express their passion, express their idea. And that's what they did. and then things just moved on for them. The other option is to an influencer is not to spend money and do it yourself. Okay. And there are lots of ways, and we're going to be talking about lots of ways of doing it yourself. You know, but you've got to find the ones that work for you, and you go out there and you do it 2 hours a day. Okay, so it could be podcast marketing, it could be email marketing, it could be social media postings and marketing. You know, you could have a website and you look for search engine optimization on that website. And, you know, you could be video marketing. The list goes on and on. And, but we in this class will focus on one in order to move forward. But you can use the concept with any other, okay? So I'm suggesting that in order to move forward on the next few days is that we start with Instagram, okay? First of all, it covers all the age groups very well. It's very well balanced as far as age groups, including all the way up to senior people, and also the younger person. So let's choose Instagram. You might choose another one. You might choose Twitter. You might choose Facebook. And Facebook has bought Instagram, and so there's a quick. You could do the two at the same time, just by posting in Instagram. All right, so we're going to start in the rest of this week. We'll talk about Instagram, but you can refer it to others that you feel good about. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to do as we move forward. Remember, we're taking the step forward in this class now. Now start developing content for posting, okay? In other words, go research whatever your purpose happens to be, research around that and bring it in, store it. You know, if you're copy and pasting stuff in your story, don't use copy and paste in your posting. But, you know, in order to create your own words, to get the information, the content, you want to add value to the people that you are looking to attract to yourself, okay? And as we said at the beginning. So I want you to do that. I want you to research, get a backlog of and even a backlog of images, because Instagram, you've got to have a photograph or an image to post with, or a video. And we'll talk a lot more about that and then start sort of, let's just call it dabbling. Posting a few posts to get familiar. If you don't know anything about Instagram and you want to go with Instagram, I do a introduction to Instagram. It's not about marketing, but it shows you how it works, basically. But I am working on a marketing one too, and if Get Set Up allow me, I will use that one in the future. So start with the content, start a little experimenting with posting, and even talk about in your posting so you can get clear in your head the benefits, because people are going to start following you, okay? And you'll post and you'll use hashtags to get into groups, and you'll actually join groups. So, you know, we'll talk about hashtags in the future, but hashtags are a must in order to spread yourself out. And slowly you'll start building a following, and you must follow relevant people, okay? Not ad hoc, you know, yeah, you can follow your kids if you want to, but this is about, you've got a purpose, and there are people around your purpose, in your purpose, already performing your purpose. Follow them, okay? Look for them and see how you move forward with them. So there are different types of accounts. Don't worry about that with Instagram at the moment, okay? So you need to just introduce yourself to Instagram, and then we'll move into just a personal account, okay? You don't need a business account, but if you want to, if you're familiar with it, then take a business account, okay? It's not going to cost you anything at the start. So really, in a summary, there you can see on the screen there, you're able to tell the world about your project once you've completed this class properly, and reduce your idea into one sentence, okay? And build engagement, which results in the start of a following. and you're going to choose between a micro influencer and doing it yourself. Okay, so take your first steps with Instagram. That's what I'm saying as a summary. So I'm very happy to take questions as we bring up the final slide with Liz in the left-hand picture down there. She writes blogs for Get Set Up, and you can contact her at liz@getsetup to share information that you have or benefits of classes or whatever. Okay, so are there any more final questions? Yes, Mary.
You said that you must post a picture on the Instagram. Does any kind of pictures, it have to be a picture of yourself or what you're promoting?
Okay. No, not a picture of yourself. No, not a picture of what you're promoting. Okay. It's going to be a picture that is about the information that you're going to be posting that adds value to the person, you know. So let's just try and think up on the spot an example. Let's say you were selling I don't know, mixed herbs, okay, and so now you post something about coriander, the benefits of coriander. So you're not talking, yes, coriander happens to be in your mixed herbs, okay, and your dried mixed herbs, but now you're giving the benefits of coriander and the ingredients in coriander. So they're getting benefit, they're getting ideas, okay, but you're not selling and you're not putting a picture up of your product.
How about your name? Can you give it like, I don't know if this is the right word, but like a stage name, or you don't have to say.
User, Instagram allows you to use a username. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other final questions?
Please, excuse me.
Henrietta, you've been very quiet this class.
When we started, you mentioned that we could record whatever we are discussing from our telephone. I would very much like to know how I can do that, because it might help me in remembering a lot of what we have discussed.
Okay, I'm not sure clearly on what your question is.
Yes.
About your phone. Maybe,
I think she means, as you said before, if you want to say something, you can record your own voice on Zoom. Is that what you mean, Henrietta?
No, I thought he said we can get a recording of the lecture. Yes, of the class.
Oh,
am I right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
But I don't know how to do it.
Okay. You would send an email, and I will send you an email after this class, and I'll put it in the email. But you'll send it to help at getsetup.io. So you already know getsetup.io because that's the website you go to. So just put help in front of help at, and then they'll send you a recording. And if you do not get any joy, I'm sure you will, but if for some reason it doesn't work, then please get hold of like Nancy at Get Set Up. She's your support today, and she'll make sure that you get the recording as well.
Okay.
So always reach out for help. There are people that want to help. All right.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Henrietta. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, I hope to see you all tomorrow at the same time. Okay. Remember, come in early so that you don't get locked out.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. And thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Thank you.